you ever thought to yourself, oh, I hope I don't regret this? It's 2 o'clock in the morning, it's cold, it's raining, you're in bed, you're cozy, you just want to get a good night's sleep. But the pounding on the door won't stop. You know they're drunk, probably high. Oh no, it's waking the neighbors. Oh, do you open the door again? Maybe if you don't, they'll leave. But where will they go? What will happen to them? You just don't know what to do anymore, but you can't just leave them out there. So you hope you don't regret this. I've been an addiction therapist for 28 years. And in my line of work, that's a pretty common scenario. The only thing that changes is the person pounding on the door. Watching somebody you love struggle with addiction can rip your heart out, can't it? I mean, you just want to do whatever you can to help them, right? But when does help start turning into enabling and begin to hurt instead? When do you stop paying their bills, making excuses for them, believing their lies? When do you stop opening that door and letting them in? Enabling can look a lot like helping, vice versa, especially when you're looking through the lens of love. But that's exactly how we can end up loving someone to death. It's a terrible cycle. You love them, you try to help them, they keep doing what they're doing. You love them, you try to help them. And as the cycle progresses, our love turns into fear. We become terrified that the ones we love will die. And that's when helping turns into enabling and starts hurting the addict instead, in what I call the toxic triangle of fear and enabling and addiction. And the idea of love with boundaries is lost. In fact, most people don't know that love with boundaries is even an option, or that it's the key that transforms that toxic triangle into a thriving triangle of love and help and recovery. This overdose crisis that we're living in, it can make us feel like we're stuck, just spinning around in that toxic triangle. In 2017, 11 people died in Canada every day, and 8 people died in the US every hour. Every hour in this overdose crisis we're living in. This represents a huge loss. We're losing the people we love. I was one of those people that we almost lost. I was addicted to opioids and benzodiazepines for 15 years, all prescribed by my doctors for my Crohn's disease. OxyContin for the pain, Xanax for the anxiety, a killing combination of prescription medication. Addiction, it's such a tricky thing, isn't it? I'm 31 years clean and sober now. Thank you. Going on 32. And back then, I just can't remember that particular morning that I woke up feeling like I didn't have a choice but to use those drugs because I was addicted. And at the end of that, I was so tired. I was so sick. I was so depressed. I was so suicidal. But now, today, I'm really glad, I'm so glad that somebody showed me that I did have a choice, that I could reach out for help instead of the alternative that I was thinking about. And so are the people who loved me, because for every one overdose death, there are family and friends left behind, second-guessing everything they did or said, wondering if what they did, what they said, was hurting instead of helping. When I look at that toxic triangle, I feel like I'm looking at my own life, my own lineage. It's like everybody else is part of a lush, green family tree, and I got stuck on a pointy family triangle. Fear, enabling, and hurting was the Plattor family addiction plan. Love with boundaries, not in our vocabulary. I worked for 16 years in Vancouver's downtown east side, and it was there that I learned about love with boundaries. I learned up close the life and death difference between helping and hurting, loving and enabling, addiction and recovery. I watched as addicts who were being enabled began to believe in their own powerlessness, feeling like they didn't have a choice. They were incapable of making a healthier decision. And I watched as that way of thinking became the problem. Seeing themselves as powerless was killing their will, their spirit, eventually their person who was struggling with addiction. So I get it, but here's the deal. Addiction is not invincible. It's not an incurable disease, and it's not a hopeless, helpless, powerless label for life. And I am living proof of that. Because living in active addiction is a choice. And it's a choice the addict can have the chance to change when the people who love them stop enabling them. But we were all blindsided by the staggering number of people becoming addicted. It's no surprise. Families are burning through their life savings. They're amassing huge debt just trying to pay for everything from the addict's rent to their rehab program. The emotional, mental, and financial chokehold this has on millions of families has itself become a monumental crisis. And it's really important that we start talking now about how enabling is fueling that crisis. Because, like I said, enabling is not invincible. We can solve this. And the solution lies in education, awareness, and prevention. But not in the same way that we've seen it in the past. We need to shift our thinking. The spotlight has always been on the addict, the drugs they're using, the problems they're causing. But the truth is, when you find an addict living in active addiction, the chances are really good that you're also going to find someone who's enabling them, someone who's unaware of how they're contributing to the problem. So, if it's true that an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure, then I say, let's go grab ourselves a kilo of education. What did you think I was talking about? No. There's a powerful prevention strategy, a strategy that actually works. Most people don't know what it is. My family didn't know, maybe yours doesn't either. It's a strategy that can move us from loving someone to death to loving someone to life. The no option plan for enabling, also known as NOPE, NOPE. Because as a society, we're still not talking about the deadly dangers of enabling, not nearly enough. And we're not putting enough time and attention into a usable, workable, family-friendly prevention plan that families can use to stop the enabling. Because here's the deal. When the enabling stops, everything changes. So the no option plan for enabling is a prevention plan that families use in their home so that their lives don't have to be ripped apart by addiction. Any kind of addiction. It doesn't matter. It can be drugs, alcohol, gambling, porn, chocolate. Yep. And enabling is enabling. This is what I tell my chocolate-enabling friends, some of whom are here today. Don't give me chocolate, even if I'm pounding on your door. But wait a minute. Chocolate's an essential food group, right? Right? So I like to have a balanced diet. You know, a couple of chocolates in each hand. Yeah? No? But seriously, if the people in our lives who are choosing to live in active addiction know up front that we who love them will not enable them to continue their addiction, well, maybe they'll make that healthier choice. This is how the NOPE, NOPE prevention plan works in action in your home. N, no. No to money. Dad's not opening his wallet. Mom's not writing checks. Friends aren't lending cash. Don't do that. We will not be financing your addiction. This is not an option. O, out. Out of the house. If you choose to live in active addiction, living in the family home is not an option. P, preserving. This plan focuses on preserving the family unit. That means that the addict will not be allowed to get away with shining that spotlight in everybody's life, at every family gathering. This is not an option. And this is not a punishment. We're doing this because we love you so much. We love you enough to say nope. We love you so much that we will not enable you to stay sick. E, enabling, is never an option. This is what love with boundaries looks like. This is what real help looks like. And this is what can move us and make recovery possible for the addicts and for their families. Because addiction is not invincible. We can do something about it. Awareness, education, and prevention about enabling is a huge part of the solution that we need to focus our attention on. We need to stand strong, united, to love with boundaries and say nope to the addicts we love. We are not loving you to death anymore. N-O-P-E, nope. We are loving you to life.